for a few more students, then we will start our lesson. Chapter. All of you take out your OPE, Oxford Progressive English, unit number 6. Unit number 6, page number 140. Okay? Unit number 6, lesson 1, how much land does a man need? This is a very thought-provoking story. It's a folk tale. You know what is a folk tale? A folk tale is just like a fairy tale, a story which has been passed from generation to generation. People have been telling to their children to their children, generations after generations. And this story normally tells about the tradition and culture of a particular society. For example, this story is telling about the culture of Russia. Okay, so it's a Russian folk tale. So I want you to read one by one and then I'm going to explain. Randomly, I will ask few of the students. I'm waiting for a few more students to join so that we can start our lesson. Open your books, page number 140, Folktale from Russia. Okay, Momin, I want you to read. Start reading. Momin, unmute your mic. Khadija, you can read. Yes, beta. Start reading.
Lesson Folktale from Russia. This Russian folktale was retold by Leo Tolstoy, the great Russian writer, in 1886. Tolstoy's most famous works are War and Peace, 1865, and Anna Karenina.
Anna Karenina.
Anna Karenina, 1875. Paham is a hard-working farmer who is happy with his achievements.
Beta, wait, we are going to pronounce it as Pahom. Pahom. ठीक है? Pahom.
Pahom. Pahom is a hard-working farmer who is happy with his achievements until he hears that beyond the river Volga, the land is better and cheaper. So he moves there and he does indeed become 10 times better off than he had been. Then one day, Pahom is told about wonderful land owned by the Bashkirs who would allow him to buy 10 times as much land as he already had. Pahom set off for the land of the Bashkirs and found that he could indeed buy as much land as he wanted. For 1,000 rubles Russian currency,
Rubles. Rubles.
rubles,
How we pronounce it? Rubles.
he
Okay.
could have as much land as he could cover on foot between sunrise and sunset. The Bashkirs took him to a little hillock, and one of them placed his fox fur hat to mark the spot to which Pahom had to return before sunset to claim his land. Delighted, Pahom sets off to walk 30 miles before sunset, marking out his territory as he goes by digging out little mounds of earth with his spade.
Good. Now next page 141. Musaf, you are going to read. Musaf, you have to unmute your mic, beta. Is there any problem? You have to unmute yourself. I have unmuted. Okay. I'm waiting. Okay, beta. Now I'm going to read and I'm going to explain. When the teacher asks you to read to participate, all of you have to participate. Okay, like in a class. I'm asking you people. Yes. Who wants to read? Yes, Musaf. You can raise your hand. Yes, Musaf. Okay. Yes, Muzammil, do you want to read? Yes, Muzammil. Start reading page 141.
Stop दो मेरी
Better there should be no noise at your back, okay? Be very careful. Okay, now I'm going to read. So this story is a Russian folk tale. I have already told you that folk tale tells about folk tale are just like fairy tales, are like myths which have been told to many people generations after generations. Okay, and it normally tells about your tradition and culture of a particular country or a society. So this story is about a farmer, a very hard-working farmer whose name was Pahum. Okay? And Pahum was a very hardworking farmer and he was living happily until one day the Bashkirs called him and offered him something. Offered him to have as much land as he could cover on foot between sunrise and sunset. Obviously, that was a very good deal for him, and he was very much happy and excited to hear such kind of deal. But all of you know this thing that greed is a curse. Okay, we should not be greedy. We need to be satisfied and contented with whatever we have. Page 140, I'm going to read and I'm going to explain. Folktale from Russia. This Russian folktale was retold, means told again, by Leo Tolstoy, the great Russian writer in 1886. Leo Tolstoy is a great Russian writer and he again retold the story in 1886. Tolstoy's most famous works are War and Peace, 1865, and Anna Karenina, 1875. Tolstoy has written very famous stories like War and Peace and Anna Karenina. This story is about Pahom. Pahom is a hardworking farmer who is happy with his achievements. What is your achievement? Uh, whatever you do. Okay, for example, if your achievement can be if you are a good debater, if you are a good writer, if you are a good scorer, these are your achievements. So Pahom is a hardworking farmer and he's happy with his achievements, like achievements in farming, until he hears that beyond the river Volga, the land is better and cheaper. Okay, so somebody told him that there's land beyond the river Volga, which is very much which is fertile and which is much better. So he moves there and he does indeed become 10 times better off than he had been. Means his earning improved. When he moved to that place, his earning improved and his earning became 10 times better. Then one day, Pahum is told about wonderful land owned by the Bashkirs who would allow him to buy 10 times as much land as he already had. Yes, somebody came to Pahum and he told Pahum that Bashkirs are offering him a wonderful land and he could, and they would allow him to buy 10 times as much land as he already had. So Pahom, he became greedy. So he set off for the land of the Bashkirs and found that he could indeed buy as much land as he wanted for 1000 rubles. Ruble is a Russian currency. Like our currency is rupees, Russian currency is called rubles. How we pronounce rubles. So they said that for 1000 rubles, he could have as much land as he could cover on foot between sunrise and sunset. It was a offer to Pahum that you just have to pay us 1000 rubles, and then you could have as much land as you could cover on foot between sunrise and sunset. It depends on you how many acres you want to cover. The Bashkirs took him to a little hillock, and one of them placed his fox fur hat. Russians, they wear fox fur hat because it's extremely cold in Russia. That is why, just to keep themselves warm. In the picture also, you can see that all the three Russians are wearing fox fur hat. Okay? So they took Pahom to a little hillock. Hillock is a small hill. Yeah, a small hill, and one of them placed his fox fur head to mark the spot to which Pahom had to return before sunset to claim his land. And one of the Bashkirs, out of three, one of the Bashkirs placed his fox fur head as a sign that you have to come back to this place. Delighted, Pahom sets off to walk 30 miles before sunset, marking out his territory as he goes by digging out little mounds of earth with his spade. Yeah. All of you know what is a spade. A spade is used for digging the earth. In the picture also, in this picture, you can see the man who is running here, that is Pahu. And he is having a spade in his hand. Okay. And these three men are Bashkirs. Now, story starts. How much land does a man need? It's like it tells a very important lesson. It gives a very important lesson to all those people who become greedy. Okay, greedy to have more and more. And it's human nature that people have a lot of money, still they want to have more. And this thing is not good for them. Okay. Now, page 141. Pahom looked back. The hillock could be distinctly seen in the sunlight with the people on it. At a rough guess, Pahom concluded that he had walked 3 miles. So Pahom, he started walking, and after covering a few miles, he just looked back and he just thought that he might have covered approximately 3 miles. It was growing warmer. Obviously, in the morning, it is much better as compared to in the afternoon and when the time increases. It was growing warmer, and obviously, when you are walking, you become exhausted and you feel warm. Okay, so he took off his undercoat, flung it across his shoulder, and went on again. Further on, he looked at the sun and decided it was time for breakfast. At, we are talking about that time when people do not have the watches, okay? So it was growing warmer, so he took off his undercoat and he just put it on his, flung it, put it across his shoulder, and then he started walking on. Then he looked at the sun and he thought that, oh, it's time for breakfast. The first shift is done. What is the first shift? There are approximately 4 shifts. Okay. But there are 4 in a day. So first shift is done, like the morning part is covered. Okay, so now he decided that he need to have breakfast. But there are 4 in a day and it is too soon yet to turn. But I will just take off my boots, said he to himself. So he said that I shouldn't move back now. I have to move forward. I have to go on because there are 4 in a day. Okay? Morning, then afternoon, then evening, and then night. So he said that I should take off my boots to make myself feel comfortable and so that I can walk further. He sat down, took off his boots, and went on. It was easy walking now. Without his boots, he was feeling easier to walk. I will go on for another 3 miles, thought he. Then I'll turn to the left. Oh, but this bit is so rich. It would be a pity to lose it. This land just gets better and better. So he was talking to himself. He said that I'm going to go for another 3 miles, but then I'll turn to the left. But he didn't want to leave any single piece of land. So he found a piece of land and he said, "Oh, this part of land is so fertile. It is so rich. I must not leave it. It will be really bad if I'm going to miss that land." Okay, this land is getting better and better. Now, students, page number 142. Now, I want anyone student to read. You can raise your hand. Yes, Ali Hassan. Yes, Ali Hassan. You can start reading.
He went straight on for a while, and when he looked around, the hillock was scarcely visible, and the people on it looked like black ants, and he could just see something mm, glistening,
Listening.
glistening there in the sun. He stopped, dug a large hole, and heaped up pieces of turf,
Turf.
turf, turf to mark his territory. Next,
Territory. Huh?
he untied his flask,
Flask.
flask,
Flask. Hmm.
flask, had a drink, and then turned sharply to the left. The grass was high, and it was very hot. Palm home
Hmm.
Home was tired and so by the sun that it was noon. Well, he thought, I just have a rest.
I
He
must
said,
have a rest. I must have a rest. Good. Thank
I
you, Ali Hassan. Okay, thank you. Now, who wants to read? Yes, Roma. Yes, Roma, you can read. Roma, I have unmuted you.
Assalamualaikum, teacher. He sat down and ate some bread and drank
Fine.
some water. But he did not lay down,
Lie
thinking
down.
that if he did, he might fall asleep. So he went on. At first strengthened by the food, but it had become terribly
Terribly.
hot, and he felt sleepy. Yet still he went on, thinking, an hour to serve, to suffer, to suffer,
An hour to suffer, a lifetime to live.
an
Okay?
hour to suffer, but lifetime to life.
Live. Okay, yes.
Went a long way in this direction also, and was about to turn to left again, when he perceived a damp hollow. It it would be a pity to leave them out. He thought flax would do well there, so he went on past the hollow.
Follow. Past the hollow and dug a hole on the other side of it. Okay, beta. Now, one more student, then I'm going to read and explain. Yes, Muzammil. Yes, Tabeen. Tabeen, I have unmuted you. Yes, better start reading. Tabi, I can't hear you very clearly. A little bit louder, beta.
It 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 would be a pity to leave that out, he
Yes.
thought. Flax would do well there, so he went on past the hollow and dug a hole on the other side of it. Before he turned the corner, Pahom looked towards the hillock. The heat made the air hazy. It seemed to be quivering,
Quivering.
and
Two.
through the
Haze.
haze, the people on the hillock
Hillock. Scarcely.
scarcely be seen. He was still 10 miles away from the fur hat. Now he walked with difficulty. He was exhausted
Exhausted.
from
Exhausted.
his
Exhausted.
cut and
Tabi, say this word. Exhausted. He was
exhausted,
from the heat.
and his legs began to fail. He longed to rest, but it was impossible if he meant to get back
Meant.
before sunset. The sun waits for no man, and it was sinking lower and lower.
Okay, thank you, beta.
If only
Okay, thank you, Tabi. Okay, beta. Now I'm going to read and I'm going to explain. Time is short. Okay. So, page 142, the first paragraph. He went this paragraph. Okay. He went straight on for a while, and when he looked round, the hillock was scarcely visible. Scarcely means hardly. So Pahom, he kept on walking for a long time, for a while, and then when he looked back, he could not see the hillock clearly. It was hardly visible. And the people on it looked like black ants, and he could just see something glistening there in the sun. It seemed that the people were shining on the hillock. He could not see that, okay, because obviously he had covered a long distance. He stopped, dug a large hole, and heaped up pieces of turf to mark his territory. Turf is a grass, short, thick grass. So what did he do? He stopped there and he dug, okay, land or sand and turf to mark his territory, so that this area belongs to him. As a sign that I have covered this much distance, and he just dug up pieces of turf in order to mark his territory. Then he untied his flask, he opened his water bottle, his flask, and he had a drink. And then he turned to the left. The grass was high and it was very hot. Pahom was tired and saw by the sun that it was noon. Obviously, I've told you that people in those days they didn't have any watches or anything like that. So they just imagined, they just assumed that time, what was the time, by looking at the sun. So he looked at the sun and he decided that it was noon, means 12 o'clock. Well, he thought, I must have a rest. So Pahom decided to rest for some time. He sat down and ate some bread and drank some water, but he did not lie down, thinking that if he did, he might fall asleep. So Paham, he sat down, he had some rest, he ate some bread and he drank some water, but he did not lie down. That was wrong of him. Okay, that was very, very wrong, because if he would have lied down, he would have gained some energy and strength. So he went on at first strengthened by the food, but it had become terribly hot and he felt sleepy, yet still he went on thinking, an hour to suffer, a lifetime to live. That thing was wrong. Na? Ki greed comes in his mind. He thought that if he was deadly tired and it was extremely hot, but he continued walking because he did not want to lose any piece of land. He wanted to cover as much as he could. He didn't think that if he would not have the energy, how he would go back. Okay, so he just continued walking and walking. At first, he thought that he should turn back, he should take some rest, but then he decided that he shouldn't. He went a long way in this direction also and was about to turn to the left again when he perceived a damp pond. Damp means slightly wet. He saw something which is slightly wet. Hollow means with nothing inside it. It would be a pity to leave that out, he thought. Flax is a plant which produces oil. Okay, flax is a oil producing plant. So he thought that I shouldn't leave this area. Flax would definitely go well over here. So he went on past the hollow, dug a hole on the other side of it before he turned the corner. Pahum looked towards the hillock. The heat made the air hazy. Hazy means misty, foggy, like you cannot see clearly. Okay, hazy. So he again looked back towards the hillock, but he couldn't see anything. The heat had made the air hazy. It seemed to be quivering, and through the haze, the people on the hillock could scarcely be seen. He could not see the people, they were hardly seen. He was still 10 miles away from the fir hammock. He had to cover a distance of 10 miles back to reach the fir hammock. Now he walked with difficulty. His all energy was finished. He was totally tired, deadly tired. He was exhausted. Exhausted means exhausted. We pronounce it as exhausted, extremely tired. From the heat, his bare feet. He was not wearing his boots. In the first paragraph, we read that he took off his boots. So his feet were bare. His bare feet were cut and bruised. Bruised means injured when marks appear on your skin after an injury. Red marks, okay? And his legs began to fail. So, what was the condition of Pahu? He was extremely tired. He could not walk. His bare feet were cut and bruised, and his legs began to fail. Like his legs seemed that his legs did not belong to him. He longed to rest. He wanted to take rest, but it was impossible if he meant to get back before sunset. The sun waits for no man, and it was sinking lower and lower. And all of you know this thing that he had to reach the place before sunset. Okay? Now he started repenting. If only, now he is repenting. If only I had not gone so far trying for too much, he thought bitterly. He looked towards the hillock and at the sun, which was already near the rim, means it was about to set edge. Pam walked on and on. It was very hard walking, and even though he pressed on, he was still far away. He began running, threw away his coat, his boots, his flask, and his cap, and kept only the spade which he used as a support. In the picture, you can see, in the first picture, if you can see, that he was just having his spade in his hand. Okay, now he is repenting. He just looked at the sun which was about to set, so he threw away his boots, his cap, his flask, his coat, and he began running. Although he did not have a single bit of energy. Okay? I have grasped too much. What a fool I have been. I can't get there before the sun sets. And now he started realizing this thing that I am a fool, that I have taken too much land and just because of greed, and now how I'm going to reach. And this fear made him still more breathless. Pahum went on running, his soaking shirt and trousers stuck to him, and his mouth was parched. Parched means dry. His chest was working like a blacksmith's bellows, his heart was beating like a hammer, and his legs were giving way as if they did not belong to him. So, the writer is told that about his condition, that heartbeat was his heart was beating and wildly and like just like a hammer, and his legs seemed that they did not belong to him. He was seized with terror. He was scared. He was deadly scared if he was going to die because of strain. Though afraid of death, he could not stop. He ran on, and as he drew nearer, he heard the Bashkirs yelling and shouting to him. He gathered his last strength and ran. He continued running, and he could hear the Bashkirs. The Bashkirs were shouting and yelling at him. They were asking him to run and run and run and to reach. Page 143, beta. The sun was close to the rain. Now sun was about to set. Very close, very close. It was cloaked in mist and looked large and red as blood. All of you know, if you have seen when the sun is setting, that the sun just looks like orange and reddish color, just like red as blood. It was about to set. Pahum could already see the people on the hillock waving their arms to hurry him up. He could see the fox fur cap on the ground and the chief holding his sides with laughter. There is indeed plenty of land, but will God let me live on it? Now he started thinking this thing, that I have gathered too much land, but will I be able to live? Will God will allow me to live? So what happened? Pahom looked at the sun, which had reached the earth. One side of it had already disappeared. With all his remaining strength, he rushed on, bending his body forward so that his legs could hardly follow fast enough to keep him from falling. Just as he reached the hillock, it suddenly grew dark. He looked up. The sun had already set. From his side, the sun had already set. Okay, it was dark now. He gave a cry, but then he remembered that though to him from below the sun seemed to have set, they on the hillock could still see it. He took a long breath and ran up the hillock. It was still right there. He reached the top, fell forward with outstretched hands, and reached the furnace. What a fine fellow! Exclaimed the chief, laughing. See how much land he has gained. So at last he was successful in reaching the forehead. He reached the forehead and then fell forward with outstretched hands. The servants of the chief, they came running up and tried to raise him, but he saw that blood was flowing from his mouth. Pahum was dead. The servant picked up the spade, dug a grave long enough for Pahum to lie in, and buried him in it. 6 feet from his head to his heels was all. So, what was the lesson? That Pahom was able to reach the fox fur head, but when the servant came to pick him up, he was already dead. Blood was coming out from his mouth. So, what did the servant do? He took the spade of Pahom, dug a grave, and buried him in that grave. And what was the size of the grave? 6 feet from his head to his heels. So, that was the actual land needed by Pahom. Okay, in his greed, he lost his life. He had everything. He had land. He had everything, but he just wanted to have more and more and more. And what happened to him as a result? Ultimately, because he did not have any energy left, but he continued running to reach the Foxford head, and in doing so, he lost his life. So students, do you understand this lesson? As time is short, so quickly we are going to go through the question answers. Okay, I'm going to unmute all of you. So if you have any problem, you can ask me. Okay? Yes, beta. Any student vocabulary, I've already told you, hillock is a small hill, mounds large rounded parts of earth, scarcely, hardly, turf, short thick grass, flax, a plant which produces oil, hazy, misty, sparse, dry, damp, slightly wet, quivering. Dry. So do you understand the story? What is the lesson of the story? Who will tell the lesson of the story? What is the lesson? What do you understand from the story? Yes, Tabi, tell me. Yes, Tabi, I can see you also. You can tell me, Tabi, what is the lesson? Hurry up, beta. Yes, Tabi. Okay, any other student who wants to tell the answer? What is the lesson? Lesson of this story. Roma. Yes, Roma. Yes. Loud. Yes, beta, what is the lesson of the story? Hurry up, tell me the lesson of the story. Yes, Roma. Any one student can tell me the answer. We have read this story. Yes, Muzammil?
Teacher, the lesson is that we should not be greedy and we shouldn't be doing this type of things in greed, that
Yes.
giving of lives and this thing.
Okay, good, Muzammil, good. Lesson is that we shouldn't be greedy. We need to be satisfied and contented with whatever we have. He should should have covered the land as much as he could. Like he need to come back to that place. So he should think this thing before. Okay, that I need that much time. I have this much time, and I shouldn't go much farther. Okay, good. Okay, now who will tell me what were the Bashkir's terms for selling the land? What were the Bashkir's terms for selling the land? Yes, Khatija. I've unmuted all the participants. You can participate in it. What were the Bashkir's terms in the start? Yes, Tabeen. Beta, all the students are unmuted, okay? From my side. What were the Bashkir's terms? Read the introduction. What did the Bashkirs say to Pahum? Who will tell this answer?
Teacher, the
Yes.
teacher, the
What were the
Bashkir's term,
Bashkir's terms for
teacher, the Bashkir's terms were that
introduction?
yes, teacher, that they set a fox fur hat at a little hillock and told him that he had to reach to the fox fur hat before sunset.
Okay. And they said that for 1,000 rubles, Russian currency, he could have as much land as he
Land
could
as he wanted
cover between
before
sunrise and sunset.
sunset.
Okay. So they were offering. They said to him that you just have to pay 1,000 rubles and then you could have as much land as you could cover between sunrise and sunset. The second part of the question is, why do you think they were offering? Some other student, beta, why do you think they were? Beta, from my side, Roma, all the students are unmuted. You have to check your mic, okay? Yes. Who will tell me why were they offering it so cheaply? Yes. Tabeen, just less than a minute is left. We need to cover. So they were offering, we are just discussing it, okay? Musaf, anyone student know? Beta, why your mics are mute? You need to unmute your mics. Mariam Mujib, Roma, Tabeen, all the students, Musaf. Ali Hassan, yes, you tell me the answer. Why were they offering uh, it for so cheaply? Why were they offering it for sale so cheaply? Because they knew that nobody would be able to cover that much land. Okay, they knew nobody would be able to cover that much land. Okay, to which two different uses did Pahom put his spade? To which two different uses he used his